Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that nothing could ruin your peace of mind. Not criticism, not rejection, not bad news, not rude people, not unexpected problems. You would still experience disappointment. You would still face challenges. But those experiences would no longer control you. For thousands of years, philosophers have searched for this kind of inner stability. And among them, the Stoics developed one of the most powerful approaches ever created. At the heart of Stoicism lies a simple but life-changing idea. Most suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our interpretation of those events. This idea sounds strange at first. How can suffering come from interpretation? Surely difficult situations are painful because they are difficult. And sometimes they are. But consider two people facing the exact same problem. One falls apart, the other remains calm. One becomes overwhelmed, the other adapts. The event is identical, the reaction is different. This difference fascinated the Stoics. They realized that external events are often beyond our control, but our response remains our responsibility. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, explained it this way. It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Think about how often emotions are triggered by assumptions. Someone doesn't respond to a message. Immediately, the mind begins creating stories. Maybe they're angry. Maybe they don't care. Maybe something is wrong. Within minutes, anxiety appears. Yet none of those conclusions are facts. They are interpretations, and interpretations shape emotions. This is one reason emotional control feels so difficult. Most people believe emotions simply happen to them. The Stoics believe something different. They believed emotions often begin with judgments. Judgments about what events mean. Judgments about what should happen. Judgments about what must never happen. When those judgments become rigid, suffering increases. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. As Emperor of Rome, he faced political conflicts, wars, betrayal, disease, and constant pressure. Yet his writings reveal an extraordinary level of calm. Not because his life was easy, but because he trained his mind differently. He repeatedly reminded himself of a simple truth. You cannot control the world. You can only control yourself. At first, this idea sounds limiting, but it is actually liberating, because much of human suffering comes from trying to control things that cannot be controlled. Other people's opinions, other people's behavior, the future, the past, chance, luck, circumstances. The more energy we invest in controlling these things, the more frustrated we become. The Stoics divided life into two categories, things within our control and things outside our control. Within our control, our actions, our choices, our effort, our character. Outside our control, the actions of others, the opinions of others, the weather, the economy, the future. Most people spend enormous amounts of emotional energy on the second category, and then wonder why they feel exhausted. The Stoic secret is surprisingly practical. Focus your attention where it can actually make a difference. Everything else deserves acceptance, not because you approve of it, not because you enjoy it, but because reality exists whether you like it or not. Resistance often creates more suffering than the event itself. Consider a storm. You cannot stop the rain. You cannot argue with the wind. You cannot negotiate with the clouds. The storm simply exists. The wise response is adaptation. Yet many people spend their lives arguing with reality, wishing the past were different, demanding certainty from the future, expecting people to behave according to their preferences. The result is endless frustration. Another powerful Stoic practice is negative visualization. Modern people often misunderstand this idea. They assume it means pessimism. In reality, it means appreciation. The Stoics intentionally imagined losing things they valued, their health, their possessions, their relationships, not to become depressed, but to become grateful. Because appreciation grows when we recognize that nothing is guaranteed. Most people only appreciate something after it is gone. The Stoics attempted to appreciate it before it disappeared. This mindset creates resilience, because when life changes, the change feels less shocking. The mind has already accepted the possibility. There is another lesson hidden within Stoicism, one that is especially relevant today: the lesson of emotional distance. When something upsetting happens, most people immediately merge with the emotion. They become the anger, the fear, the anxiety, the disappointment. The Stoics practiced something different. They observed emotions. Instead of saying, "I am angry," they mentally shifted toward, "I am experiencing anger." This may seem like a small difference, but psychologically it is enormous. One creates identification, the other creates observation, and observation creates freedom. Carl Jung would later explore similar ideas through self-awareness and consciousness. The ability to observe your thoughts instead of becoming trapped inside them is one of the most valuable skills a person can develop, because emotions become easier to manage when they are observed clearly. Most emotional reactions are temporary, like waves. They rise, they peak, they fall. The problem is that people often act during the peak. They send the message, make the decision, start the argument, quit the job, end the relationship, then regret it later. The Stoics encouraged patience. Pause before reacting, observe before acting, think before speaking. This simple habit prevents countless mistakes. Perhaps the greatest misconception about emotional control is that it means suppressing emotions. The Stoics did not teach emotional numbness. They were not robots. They experienced grief, fear, joy, love, pain. The goal was not to eliminate emotions. The goal was to prevent emotions from becoming dictators. A person without emotions becomes disconnected from life. A person controlled by emotions becomes disconnected from wisdom. The ideal lies somewhere in between, feeling deeply, while remaining guided by reason. This balance creates stability, not perfection, stability. And stability becomes increasingly valuable in a chaotic world, because chaos will always exist. Unexpected problems will always appear. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Mistakes will happen. Loss is inevitable. Change is inevitable. Uncertainty is inevitable. The Stoics understood these realities. Instead of fighting them, they prepared for them. And preparation created peace. In the end, emotional control is not about controlling life. It is about controlling your response to life. The world will continue doing what the world does. The question is whether your peace depends on it. Because true strength is not found in controlling circumstances. It is found in remaining steady despite them. And according to the Stoics, that strength is available to anyone willing to train their mind. Not tomorrow, not someday, but beginning right now.